Hello, friends, readers, and book lovers. Welcome back to Prepare Your Shelf. Today, we are talking about books that are coming out on August 11th, 2026. I don't know why I threw the date in there, the year in there, but...
We are still in 2026. It
Yeah.
feels like this year's kind of flying, but...
Yeah. And we've been doing this, I think, for more than a year now. So maybe that's why. I feel inspired to say this will be around for a long time. So it's 2026. And if you're listening to this in 2027... good for you.
These are old books, but they're still good books.
I'm Elizabeth. I'm the marketing manager.
I'm Amy. I'm one of the buyers.
We're going to talk about some books today. Do you want to start?
Sure. Well, You'll Love It Here is a novel by Natalie Sue. This is being billed as like a grown-up The Breakfast Club set in an old apartment building.
Love it.
So there is the main character has recently lost sort of a high-profile job that she thought was going to like get her out of where she was living, and she takes on the role of the super at this old apartment building. And so she starts to get involved in a little bit of the private lives of all the weird and quirky people who live in this building. So it's sort of like, imagine if you've always wanted to like know why your upstairs neighbor is moving their furniture at 3:00 in the morning, or like stampeding like elephants, or shouting at each other. Like she starts to get the inner lives of all of those people. There's a little bit of a romance with a cafe worker, and they're both like taking care of the elderly neighbor's dog. So there's that. It just sounds really fun. I don't know if you grew up on The Breakfast Club like I did, but like an adult version of just all the kooky, wacky people who live in this old building and how they come together and find community.
Love that.
The power of human connection.
Love it. I'm switching my order because this book is also about someone who loses their job and gets an unusual job.
I love it.
So this is Don't Cross Mo Ellery by Bertie Horn. And this is going to fall into that quirky mystery category.
Okay.
Like Finley Donovan or the Vera Wong series, or two more recent series kind of in this category. But our main character, Mo Ellery, Mo Ellery's 29th birthday is a disaster, is how it starts. There's an incident with a video call for work that goes poorly, that turns into both her losing her job and getting dumped. And so Mo has to kind of start over, and she finds the job that is offering everything she's hoping for, health insurance. And that is a crossing guard at a local school. But her standards are pretty low at this point. So she's a crossing guard at this school, and she starts to get to know the quirky characters at the school and around this intersection. And then there's a death, and she gets kind of unwillingly roped into trying to figure out what happened.
I love a reluctant sleuth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for the world to meet Mo.
Great. Well, In What World by Bridget Morrissey. This is a speculative romance. It's a sapphic romance.
Okay.
Two high school rivals who have sort of kind of stayed connected via their drama teacher.
Okay.
Their drama teacher suddenly disappears, and they're like, we need to solve it.
Yeah.
We need to figure out where he went. Each individually want to figure it out.
Okay.
It turns out he's gone through some sort of time machine portal in the school's walls.
Oh.
And so as they're trying to follow him to find him and rescue him, they end up going to these alternate universes and seeing alternate versions of themselves. And in every one of them, they're like, maybe we don't hate it. There's a lot of feelings in every single one of them.
Just a lot of feelings.
But they have to team up, because obviously they're trying to solve this, but also like survive. I don't think it's a comedy. Like, it's not a end of the world sort of thing.
Okay.
I don't think. But it's told in dual point of view, so you do get both of their points of view, and they have to team up and decide, like, is their rivalry actually worth it, or did they maybe miss out on opportunities to be something other than rivals, and they've just been holding on to this rivalry when maybe it shouldn't be.
Yep.
I like the idea of like just a subtle magical twist. and seeing
Mm-hmm.
almost like it's a very different tone to Midnight Library, but like seeing different options of what your life could have been like.
Okay, I like it.
And maybe learning something from it.
Yep. Great.
Yeah.
All right, my next one is Sunrise, and there's a time element to this one too,
okay,
although different. This it plays on a couple like risingly popular tropes at the moment. So this is a Western setting, and we know Westerns are kind of coming back.
Mm-hmm.
This is also a multi-timeline. So we're looking at 3 different timelines: 2024, 2003, and 1902, but at the same location.
Okay.
Which I feel like a location being a character is another like micro trope that's like getting popular here. So this is around the town Sunrise. And in 2024, Nina is in a small engine plane crash where her boyfriend disappears, and she ends up in this abandoned town that is surprisingly well preserved. And there's a lot of mystery around that. In 2003, the town's golden boy, Cole, is linked to a scandalous incident at a local bar. It's kind of all the setup information we get on that. And then in 1902, the town's founder, gunslinger, and legendary pulp hero, Anton Vargas, returns to Sunrise and quickly takes charge of a group searching for a missing boy. But who really is Vargas? How does he know about the boy's disappearance? And why has he returned after such a long absence? So lots of mystery, history. I think there's some ghosts in here sprinkled around in our Western setting. I think it's going to be really, really interesting.
Very.
Yeah, in that general literary fiction with some mystery elements.
Okay. I have Hocus Pocus by Brenda Shari. This is historical fiction with magical elements a little bit, but it's less magical than like magicians, like real magicians. So it's takes place in 19th century, and it is actually based on real life Indian stage magicians from that time period that would come and perform in the United States, and sort of the fascination around them. So it follows a young man who is a magician. He travels the world. He's really seeking like to make his big break. He goes from India to London, ends up in Boston in 1816, and he is taken on by a man who is the proprietor of the New Boston Museum, which is on the verge of bankruptcy, and he's like looking for the thing that will bring people back in, and this is going to be like the first live action exhibit, I guess, at the museum. And so his employer becomes more and more fascinated and like a little bit obsessed with this magician, and the magician is like finding his place, but is now becoming more and more reliant on this employer, and so you get a lot of really rich history, but also like an imaginative magician world. So it's based in actual history, but there might be some elements of something else.
That's fun.
There. Yeah.
I like that.
Just a different historical fiction. It's not World War II.
Yeah, for sure. Which we have been searching for lately. Like non-world.
Sort of a unique historical fiction perspective.
Love it. All right, my final one is called Sheet Cakes, and it's a cookbook by Zola Gregory. And I'm really bringing this to give a shout out to cookbooks. It's been a thing this year for me to try to like work harder to cook out of my cookbooks instead of going to the internet for recipes. I think our internet currently can be kind of unreliable when it comes to recipes. And there are so many good cookbooks out there. Check out a cookbook if you haven't recently. But this one is Sheet Cakes, and it's 51 nostalgic, unique, and downright delicious recipes for sheet cakes. Which is also, I love that it's like pretty simple as far as baking goes. We're not asking to like craft 4-tiered masterpieces. We're just like bringing back the classic sheet cake in all different flavors and for all different occasions. And I'm a big fan, so I hope you check it out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You know what else you should check out? A is for Amoeba. the story and life cycle of a single cell. Because who doesn't want to read a biography about amorphous splotches with a spot in the middle and everything they have to teach us about the world?
Yeah, who doesn't want to read that? Thanks for joining us.
See you next week.